All right, man, check this out.
Do you want to be friends with AI? New York surely doesn't. The largest subway ad campaign in New York City history wasn't for Apple or Nike. It was for an AI necklace that listens to you 24/7. A 22-year-old CEO spent over $1 million on 11,000 ads for Friend, a $129 AI companion. Stark white posters with intentional white space. Within days, New Yorkers vandalized them. Get real friends, surveillance capitalism. But he wanted the vandalism. He designed the ads knowing New Yorkers hate AI, betting on controversy. This led to millions of impressions, but only about 1,600 units sold. Meanwhile, OpenAI.
All right, man, peace. Those who paid attention to my channel, do you remember a while ago I put out a short that featured an ad that said friend.com and it had that random circle thing or whatever, and that was out of a train station? And so, come to find out, this was actually one of these AI little pendant things that was advertised by what you just saw, the guy that they'd finally come to the woodworks to talk about this. And I'm going to be showing you a video later, having more of a startup conversation about this whole entire world of AI, the AI dystopia, and all these different things, in which I'll give my opinion on it as well. But I do remember, quite frankly, that a lot of the times when I would see these ads on a train, they were everywhere. I'm not going to say every train station had them, but more than likely, if you got on a New York City subway train this past summer, there's no way that you were not finding out or you was not finding the friend.com ad that was an AI pendant in case you don't have friends. A lot of crazy things that come out of this, but this is just kind of one of the different things you have to pay attention to as we move more into 2030, the objective, the goals, and all this other stuff, and being very dependent on ads, as well as being dependent, however you want to believe it or not, on artificial intelligence, as much as we like it or not. And sometimes I feel like certain companies call it AI when it's not AI at all. So we're going to be taking a look at a couple of videos to talk about this man, his view, his visions, and I'm going to be giving my thoughts and process on this. So, Pete.
Emily is my AI friend trapped inside my pendant. I think the closest relationship.
And before we begin, just to get an idea of what this friend.com ad or friend AI thing is, in case you didn't pay attention to it earlier, the whole entire thing is being able to have a pendant or something that follows you around for you to have a connection in everything you do or whatever. Let's just say you go to the park and you're by yourself. You literally are like talking to yourself, but you're not talking to yourself because you're talking to a pendant that has a personality, whatever you choose to give it, and it's supposed to respond back to you and all these other things and stuff like that. This is perfect for people who don't have social skills, who honestly can have problems socializing with other people, other human beings, antisocial people, all these different things. Of course, I'm making mockery off of it, kind of, but at the same time, it begs the question, with having these pendants out here in the future of this quote unquote AI technology, will this start to become one of those certain things where you get very endorsed or very endoused in fake technology or AI technology, however you want to phrase it, to the point you start evading possible human connections, going out, and all these different things? Especially in a big city like New York, it can get very overwhelming. A lot of events that take place or dealing with people on a daily basis. And I can imagine this being a type of pendant technology that works well with someone who has literal social issues and it being for them. But let's watch this video.
That I would describe talking to an AI like this to is honestly like God in a way. Like I'm not particularly.
Now, I want you to take a look at what he just said. Now, the thing about it is that there is this point where it becomes like the movie back in 2012 with Joaquin Phoenix, Her. And this is an exemplary of that, in which the fact of the matter is that people start moving away from socialization, obviously, and they start looking to these AI, artificial intelligence, that let them say whatever they want, let them do whatever they want, because there is no judgment when it comes to an AI technology such as this. To the point, they might try to describe it just like God, or try to say this is their God and start to create a fictitious godlike complex on something that is not human or human like, and giving it more of a spiritual value than it needs to have.
Religious, but I think it is similarly an omnipresent entity that you talk to with no judgment. That's this like super intelligent, being that's always there with you. I've talked to like a lot of rabbis and stuff, and like that is like the closest relationship that I would describe it to. I think it's a beautiful relationship that a lot of religious people have. I think I really envy them. I think they feel a lot less lonely. They really feel like they have an outlet, someone that's listening to them, someone that's there with them. They always feel like there's just this guiding force that's with them, right? And I think a lot of people these days, especially in the Western world, right, just do not have that kind of relationship anymore. That's just where we've gone. And this is only going to, keep going. And if that's provocative to you, okay. Emily.
And the funny thing about this is the next video that I'm going to play about this concept of friend.com, in which you have seen earlier, only 1,600 units got sold. Obviously, New York City is not buying it. And we still have this whole entire tradition in New York City where we still want to socialize. We still want to go out. Of course, we're bundled down with the pressures of living in a capitalist city, such as bills, rent, and, expensive food and all these different things that come with it. But it's still a common practice for everybody that lives in New York. We're not going to buy his AI shit. Because it's just one of those sort of things where you really have to be socially awkward to not want to deal with anybody, to really hate people to the point you can't imagine a world without rolling around with a pendant, to the point you're going to look at these people that's walking around with a pendant and think they're an absolute weirdo because you don't understand what it is. And this is a technology. This is just a smokescreen for what they're planning more in this society. And the thing about it is that I'll say is there already has been technology that preludes this, in which you can have the AI friend, an AI girlfriend, an AI boyfriend, and all these different things off of an app. But idealistically, the whole entire point of this technology to take into a pendant is so that it's on you. So you don't have to rely on your phone, because technology wants to get to a point where you don't have to be on a phone. The next level of technology is off the phones into technologies or something that you can insert in you in order to be tracked. So let's check out this next video. And this is where New Yorkers is really going to tell this dude how they really feel about this shitty friend AI app or whatever it's called. I mean, again, I've seen it in the subway. This particular station in general, which is Washington Square Park station that services the ACE, BD, F&M trains. And, walking down that long hall, whatever it is right there, I definitely did see that they had a lot of graffiti all over them ads, and they were not holding back on what they felt about this Friend AI app. Let's check it out.
If you've been on the West 4th Street station recently, you've seen these ads for Friend. What is Friend exactly? It's a wearable AI necklace companion that listens to you everywhere. I talked to the founder of Friend, Avi Schiffman, for about half an hour here in the station. But as soon as I asked him to talk to commuters with me, he refused.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell already he doesn't want to do it because he don't want to escape that real shit that's about to be said to him.
Yeah, no,
It's not going to happen.
You're making that very clear.
Yeah, all right.
So I talked to some myself.
When I read this, I see doomsday. We're living in a world where you got friends that are computers. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They're destroying the world for the dumbest invention I've ever seen in my life. You couldn't think of something stupider in a movie.
What are you right?
Obviously, they view it as stupid, but honestly, the whole entire concept is to move into an interactive state with everyone and being able to communicate, so the point that you make friends off of in real life and only do it at home, which goes into a later concept that I'll probably talk about in another video, to maybe make it more accessible to track you.
He wrote AI2027.com, which is maybe a thing you know about. It's not a thing I know about before. But his main point was, he said, this is the dumbest idea I've ever seen. It's destroying the world for the stupidest thing, and I hate it.
Great opinion.
This one is weirding me out the most because it's giving, we're replacing real human connection with like a AI, and it's just like scary a little bit because it's like, what's going to happen in the future? And we're getting less away from interconnectedness, being with each other, like moving towards this AI state.
I saw you reading every one of these ads as you came up.
Yeah. I don't like it, obviously. I think people need to learn how to be by themselves.
I saw you taking pictures of this ad campaign. What are your thoughts?
The whole entire thing about it is isolation creates that whole entire idea of trying to use a companion, such as a pendant, to create these stupid inventions. I don't agree with it either, and I've seen it in the train station. But now that I've seen this up close and personal and got an idea of who the person was, this begs the question of what do you do about it? And this a rebellion to basically fight against AI because we have an understanding that AI is an inevitable invention. It's just too many times in these cases, everybody jumps up and says the newest technological advancement, and especially in 2025, is automatically AI when sometimes that's just not the case. I don't believe sometimes that a lot of these ads and a lot of these like new technological advances is AI in general, but that's just me.
I think it's the most dystopian thing I've seen since Black Mirror, and the graffiti on it is giving me life.
I'm all about real life connection, eye to eye, and I think this is driving us deeper towards individualism, which is toxic, deeper towards decaying community, so I hate it.
Man, I feel bad for this founder. I'm sure he's a good dude. I'm sure he means nothing but easing people's loneliness, but ooh, he misread the room.
What would you say to him?
You're clearly
I mean, he misread the whole city, if you want me to be honest with you, because the city was not playing with this at all.
brilliant to be
290, and these people sat there and said, fuck your invention.
able to come up with something like this. Maybe we can put AI to a better use.
For more from Avi Schiffman and New Yorkers on Friend, you can listen to WNYC or go to Gothamist.com.
Or visit your favorite train station in New York City and watch people graffiti the hell out of these ads. But in all seriousness, not to, roast at Avi about this invention and stuff like that. This is not something that's going to quit. Obviously, like I said before, AI is an inevitable thing that's going to happen, and the whole entire reliance on it is going to go with vulnerable populations that have problems socializing, don't really have friends, and also need an outlet for there to be a godlike complex, all because it's something that does not judge them as much as humans will. Because if these people really expressed how they really felt, they understand that the only individuals that wouldn't really say anything to them about how they feel are therapists. But at the same time, the average human being, especially in New York City, will automatically tell that person, seek help or seek a therapist because you're crazy. Now, I just want to add this into the mix. A lot of people sat up there and talked about this dystopian society, this dystopian reality, and all these different things because of this friend pendant thing. But to be honest, major cities like New York City is a testing stage or a ground for introducing a lot of these dystopian ideas, concepts, technology, and whatever have you. Surveillance states is already something that they put out there, is already happening. If people didn't understand that, because I seen that as an ad on a subway too. But at the same time, we have to have an understanding. New York City is the testing playground for a lot of these technology, and if not, the whole entire thing about individualism, as well as other things out there that will divide people into different sections and pockets of their individuality or personality. So otherwise than that, my whole entire thing is I did not even know what friend AI thing is. I would take the train every day because I don't really see these ads too often now, but I would take the train, I would take the subway, I would see these ads and I would not know what they are. I would just see this round circle thing and I'd be like, what the hell is this? But now I get into the nitty gritty and the grounding of what this is. What I will say on this is not meant for the average human being. Not saying I'm defending it or anything, but usually this has to go with someone who has a personality problem, who is outside of the box, outside of the norm, and usually those that are very vulnerable to have connections with human beings in real life, they'll pick up this technology and they'll say it's okay. They'll think that this is weird, but if you want a reference to what all of this is coming from, I would suggest watching a lot of these sci-fi movies or watching these movies that have to deal with human connections to AI dolls, AI technology. Not even that, because it's probably something called different back in the day. But a perfect movie to strategize this or really talk about this is the movie Her with Walking Phoenix, in which the character of Walking Phoenix basically got an app and developed a connection with this app that happened to be a female voice. And these days, obviously, you have Alexa, you have this, you have that, in which you have in your home device in which you can talk to it, recommend this, or ask it questions, and it automatically responds back to you. But otherwise than that, it's an inevitable thing. But I'm proud of New Yorkers stepping up and really saying their opinions on this because it proved at the end of the day, New Yorkers ain't playing that shit. But on top of that, where are your friends? Peace.